The Deer Farming Channel is brought to you by Rafter P Construction. Stick around to learn more about Rafter P's design build process and, of course, the biggest deer in the world. Well, howdy everybody. This week, Deer and Wildlife Stories is heading to Blue Creek Whitetails. So this is the second time I've been to Blue Creek Whitetails, but it's the first time I've been at this location. You see, 3 years ago, we did a show from Blue Creek Whitetails, and at that time they were located just outside of El Campo, Texas. But they recently moved the entire operation to just outside of Falfurrias, Texas, and this place is gorgeous.
My name is Jimmy Neely. We're at Blue Creek Whitetails in Falfurrias, Texas. We have 56 pens total. 4 of them are just holding pens, but there's 52 pens that house whitetails year-round. Altogether, we have 1,400 animals right now, and inside the deer pens is about 130 acres. Our typical customer is anybody looking to improve their genetics on a breeding facility or pasture, whether it's 1 deer or 100 deer. We have plenty of animals to fit any need. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to give us a call.
Hi, I'm Kayla Neely here at Blue Creek Whitetails, and I'm the office manager. We're really excited to have Keith out here at the farm. It's been a couple years since we've gotten to be hands-on with him. You know, we can't wait to show him all of the great yearlings we have and how gentle our does are and some of the great bottle babies that we have coming up.
All right, so this is Kayla Neely, and her husband is Jimmy. Jimmy is the head guy out here, and she's the head gal out here. Okay, and we are in a yearling pen right now. All these are 1-year-old?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so as you look at these, I want to tell you, you know, I was at Blue Creek Whitetails years ago, and there was a yearling back then, and his name, he's got a name now, but we're going to show you the footage from back then, and because he is a daddy-o now, we'll show you later in the show, but that footage, I mean, we want to look at that footage now, and he was a yearling. His name is what, Big Ben?
Big Ben, yes, sir.
Okay, and so now I want you to take a look at these guys right here. I mean, these guys are beautiful. I mean, there's you know, I don't know which one my favorite one is, but I want to ask you this. How many yearling bucks do y'all have on the farm?
Around 150 to 200.
And so when you start looking at deer like this, I mean, I don't know how many we're looking at in here, a big group of them, but they've got pens all over the place. I mean, how long has the facility been here now?
Just over a year. So we moved all the deer in March.
Okay, so these guys were born here or no?
No, sir, they were all born in El Campo.
Wow. Okay, so the reason why I'm impressed by that is because deer, they undergo a lot of stress when they're moving.
Yes, sir.
And I remember when I was talking to Jimmy about this, I mean, y'all took all the deer from El Campo and you brought them over here. All the big ones, all the little ones. Okay, and so I know that had to be a chore, and I don't know how many loads it took, but when you take a look at these guys, every one of these guys went through that stress. So could you imagine if they wouldn't have gone through that stress, how much bigger they'd be?
Yes, sir.
I mean, they're huge. Okay, now let me ask you this. Did y'all buy any of these deer from anybody, or were they all born at Blue Creek over there in El Campo?
No, sir, we didn't buy any. They were all born here.
Okay, that gives you an example of what you can expect out of the genetics here at Blue Creek. I mean, just, I don't know which one my favorite one is, but they've got 150 yearling bucks out here. And so if somebody wants to come out and take a look at these yearling bucks or any of the deer, I know you've got a ton of stuff going on all the time, what number do they need to call?
If y'all want to come out and look at any of these deer, you can give Jimmy or myself a call. Jimmy's number is 361-935-8821, and mine is 361-935-9844.
Okay, and so right now I know it's time to go bottle feed.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we're gonna head to the barn and we're gonna start bottle feeding. Now it's time for viewer feedback. All right, this one comes off a Facebook Messenger from a viewer by the name of Emil. I've watched all your shows on your YouTube channel, and I think I'm ready to start a deer farm. But I'm questioning, where do I get my startup deer? I see so many farms in your shows that I don't even know where to start. Can you point me in the right direction? By the way, I'm in North Texas. Emil, okay, a lot of people, they're lost. They don't know where to start. And by watching our show is a good start. But what I do is pick up the telephone and call people. If you're in Texas, you're gonna have to buy deer from a Texas breeder. So Falfurrias, Texas from North Texas is a long way, but it is worth the drive. And the reason I would call everybody is because it's all about the relationship. How do you feel during the phone call? Have your questions all lined up? How do you feel during the phone call? And then make a visit. Come on down to Blue Creek. I mean, go to any of the farms that we feature. We vet every single farm before we ever do a TV show with them, because we're not going to do a TV show with somebody that doesn't have impeccable service. So if you've got any questions, all you need to do is just go to our website. We've got links to every single deer farm where we go. Anyway, Emil, thanks for the question. If y'all have a question, you can head on over to Facebook Messenger and send it to me that way, or send me an email. Deer and Wildlife Stories will be right back. It takes a tremendous amount of effort to run an operation this size, and Jimmy and Kayla Neely can't do it alone.
I'm Michaela Mangum. I'm a bottle feeder here at Blue Creek. We pretty much wake up every morning, feed fawns, take care of fawns, make sure they're healthy, give vaccinations. We clean up around the barn, make sure everything is good to go for herd health. We make sure everybody has fresh food, fresh water, fresh hay, and fawn health is the most important thing as a bottle intern.
Bottle feeding is something that a lot of farms do. They'll do them for different reasons. They'll do them because they're just the best of the best genetics they have on the farm. They want to keep them gentle. Or they'll wind up doing it with deer that are born late. And those deer that are born late, they take them off their mothers so the mothers have an opportunity to put weight back on and get ready for the upcoming breeding season. All right, so earlier, Kayla wound up showing us some really nice yearlings. And now, Jimmy, tell everybody about the deer that are in here. I know there's two that are not yearlings, but you've got some fantastic yearling bucks.
We're excited about them. I mean, it's with everything they kind of combated and fought through to grow what they did.
Oh, yeah.
We're excited about what they put on their head, and we're really excited to see what they do at 2 once they get a full year under their belt here.
Well, and all these guys, again, they were all moved over from the old location in El Campo, and so they did undergo that stress, and to still be putting on racks like this one right here. I mean, that's beautiful. That deer right there is gorgeous. I mean, there's some outstanding deer. Now, earlier we talked about a buck that we said we filmed back at El Campo, and he was a yearling then, and his name, they've given him a name because he kind of blew up. Okay, his name is what?
Big Ben.
And where is he?
Right over here.
Now you know why they call him Big Ben. Look at the drops on him. I mean, that deer is huge. And so when you go back and you take a look, we would take a look at him as a yearling, and then take a look at him, and he's 4?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what a stud. Now, pedigree-wise, talk about that.
He's Big Sir's full brother.
Okay, so Big Sir was, I mean, y'all have Big Sir, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so Big Sir is an old man now. But back in the day, I mean, Big Sir is a legend. I mean, and take a look at that. That's the same blood as Big Sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now who's this other big buck in here? I mean, he's just giant.
That's Combine.
Combine. Okay.
He was 42 inches last year at 3 inside.
42 inside?
Inside.
Really? Tell me his pedigree.
His Unforgiven Masterpiece Ranger Green 8, hardcore sister on the bottom.
What a stud. I don't know how wide he is, but I mean, you just can't help but, I mean, he's breathtaking. Just want him to look at him.
We're excited to see him finish out, and it's going to be real exciting when we finally get our hands on him.
Okay, so as far as these deer go, what deer are for sale?
Everything.
Everything.
Every
Okay.
deer is for sale.
Okay, that's important because there's a lot of places somebody say, oh, that deer's not for sale. You can buy all these other ones, but you can't buy him. But if somebody wants some more information about coming out here, what number do they call?
They can call me at 361-935-8821,
Okay.
or they can call my wife at 361-935-9844.
Okay. All right, so tell everybody who your typical customer here is. I mean, you know, somebody watching this show maybe just wonder, who does he sell deer to?
We sell deer to everybody, from different breeders to ranches to stock their own place. And anybody that needs a deer, we sell them a deer.
And so every deer on the place is for sale. I want to point something out that there's lots of places to sell deer. Okay, lots of them. Lots of places sell big deer. Okay, but to me, the most important thing is customer service.
100%.
Okay, and that's the thing that impresses me the most about coming out here. Customer service and the attention to detail. I mean, you and Kayla have done a phenomenal job. You've got a fantastic group of interns working in here and help on the farm to make sure the pens are in great shape. The deer are in great shape. I mean, look at them. I mean, they are absolutely beautiful, but customer service, no matter who you buy a deer from. I mean, of course, Blue Creek would love you to buy deer from them, or 20 or 30 or 50, it doesn't matter, okay? But they're gonna stand behind it. You can pick up the phone any time of day or night if you have a problem and call this guy. Trust me, I've done it, okay? And so, I mean, it's like a lifeline. The customer service is really important, but let's talk about, you've got a 3-year-old in another pen, and I've been looking forward to seeing him, and what is his name?
His name's Ransom.
Well, let's go see Ransom.
All right.
Teamwork. Teamwork is essential with a big operation like this, and so Jimmy and Caleb have got a great team. They'll wind up working together well, and I think the reason why is because they built that relationship through things like they'll all sit down and even have a meal together, and they do that often.
This morning we're bringing does and fawns into the barn. We start vaccinating with fawns still on their mama and leave them on their mom. We try to start them early enough to where the vaccines are working on young, healthy bodies, not once an animal's already sick and fighting an infection. And basically we're bringing them into the barn. They'll come through the chute and they'll get a fusobacteria vaccine, a Pasteurella for pneumonia, and a Clostridium C and D to help fight Clostridium C and D and build those antibodies up in their systems. This process of bringing all the deer up through the barn, it takes our entire team. We have about 550 fawns on the ground right now, and for us to get through them all in a timely manner, it takes our entire team. Deer farming is much a lifestyle. It's not a job choice or just a career choice. It's a true lifestyle. I mean, for myself and my family, my wife, myself, my son, and my stepdaughter all work with us all together. And then we have Mayo and his family, they also help us. It's a true lifestyle choice because we work 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and we love every minute of it.
I'll tell you, I've visited hundreds of deer farms. I've never seen a more efficient operation run, period, ever. And just take a look at Jimmy and his team as they run these deer through the facility. I mean, they're like a machine. They don't miss a lick. So when you wind up having deer in a pen, you wind up needing to be a shade tree vet, as I tell people. And you learn to take care of them. And Jimmy and Kayla have learned to take care of the animals out here. And so, for example, the bucks, many times bucks, when they're in the velvet, they get antler infection. And when they do, that needs to be taken care of.
We're fixing to cut this buck because he's starting to get an antler infection. He started to rub the velvet off the end of his tines. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to anesthetize the animal, and we're going to put some big rubber bands close to the bottom of his bases to stop the blood flow. And then we cut the antler off. While we're cutting this buck and he's anesthetized, he feels no pain at all. He's 100% asleep, just like you and I would be during a surgery. And when he wakes up, he won't feel any pain, and he'll feel a whole lot better. Go through and clog the arteries with toothpicks, and then after we do that to both sides, we'll give him some antibiotics and dexamethasone to help relieve some pain and swelling, and then we'll take him back to his pen and wake him up. We have to step in from time to time, taking care of animals and medicating, removing antlers. Sometimes we have to help remove fawns from those, all because if we don't, I mean, their life is on the line. So animal husbandry and their care is the top priority for us on a daily basis.
When you buy deer, whether you buy one deer or you buy a whole package of deer, you're going to have issues with them. You're going to have questions, and you want to make sure and deal with somebody that stands behind those deer and is going to provide good customer service, and that's what they do here at Blue Creek. When you look at Jimmy and his team, they're knowledgeable, and you can tell by just looking at them at their operation. And the cool thing about it is when you come out here and you get to know them, and every customer that deals with them knows that when they have problems, if they're going to have problems, they're going to be able to pick up the phone and call them anytime and get some advice.
Blue Creek Whitetails is owned by the Emig family, Billy and Alice Emig. They're from Chattanooga, Tennessee. The Emig family originally started Blue Creek Whitetails just to enhance the whitetail on their property in El Campo. Throughout the years, it went from 20 or 30 head and has grown up into 1,400 animals. From breeding decisions to pen management and animal husbandry issues, staffing, and the Emig family has completely entrusted us, and we're extremely grateful for that.
Here at Blue Creek, I would definitely say it's not a numbers game, it's quality over your quantity. If you're getting into deer breeding and you're a new deer breeder, I would say you go to a farm, any farm that you pick, and you pick out the 5 best does. You want them to be heavily pedigreed. Pedigree is everything when it comes to these animals.
All right, so he's a 3-year-old?
He's the 3-year-old.
And his name is Ransom. So tell everybody the pedigree on him.
He's horsepower, free string, gladiator hammer Tasha.
Okay, so as we show you that pedigree, okay, the NADAR certificate, you got to realize, anybody in the deer industry realizes the value of that deer. Okay, he is strong, okay, and at 3 years old, I mean, so what are your plans with him?
We're going to breed him and just continue to let that legacy live on.
Okay, so How about partnerships? We haven't talked about that. If somebody doesn't want to buy a whole deer, but they want a partnership, what do y'all do?
We're open to any kind of partnership, from bucks to does, you name it. We'll partner on it with people.
Okay, and what that means is that get on out here to Blue Creek. Come on out and take a look at these deer, and then once you sit down, you start looking at pedigrees and you start talking about price. Then if you can't afford the whole deer, maybe you can afford half, or get you and your buddy to get half and they keep half. But I mean, negotiated deal partnerships are very common now in the industry. I mean, you're partners with Tunal, and I mean, over at Tejada, and Jade Webster, and I mean, all kinds of people. I mean, so partnerships are very, very common.
Yes, sir. Partnerships have done really well as far as reducing kind of the risk of everything.
And also spreading it out to where you're able to prove a deer. So you got a deer like Ransom right here, you get a partner on him, and all of a sudden they put the semen in their deer and semen in your deer, and all of a sudden you have twice the odds of being able to produce somebody that's good and marketable, and keep that legacy going, just like you're talking about.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so these guys that are in with him, I mean, of course, he overshadows these other guys, but they're yearlings, but they're awesome. I mean, they're good.
We're excited about them. I mean, they're kind of three yearlings that we're excited where they're going to go.
Well, I like them, but I really like Ransom. I mean, so when did Ransom wind up? When did you realize that Ransom was going to be a franchise deer, as I call it?
Well, when he started this year, I mean, he kind of just inched along, but last year at 2, he inched along until about the 1st of July. And then the 1st of July, he started really pushing his tines. And this year when he started, he kind of took off a lot faster. But by middle of June, I mean, we were excited about him.
Yeah. In other words, early in the summer, y'all
Yes.
knew it. So we talk about customer service, and the reason why I think that you ought to deal with Blue Creek Whitetails is because of their slogan, which is,
Your success is our only business.
and they mean that. In other words, if you're in business to make money in the deer business, they're going to make sure that you stay in business. And what I mean by that is, if you have a problem, any problem, and if you're a deer breeder, you're going to have a problem, guaranteed. Okay, the health issues are the biggest thing. And so what you can do is you can pick up the phone and call Jimmy. And I'll tell you, Jimmy doesn't talk much. And anybody in the deer industry is going to say, man, Jimmy doesn't talk much. I think because he puts all that information in his head, and he is an internet for animal husbandry. He's not a veterinarian, but he knows more about whitetail deer than a lot of veterinarians do. And I've picked up the phone many times and called him and said, Jimmy, we're stumped. What can I do to fix this problem? And he's fixed my problem. And so he can fix your problem too. And again, they're in business to make sure that you stay in business. All right, so if y'all want more information about coming out to Blue Creek, they're located in deep South Texas. Deep South Texas. But the pens are beautiful, they're spacious, the deer are big and they're healthy, and they got a lot of big ones. And so if y'all want more information, get a hold of Jimmy or Kayla Neely at Blue Creek Whitetails. And I appreciate y'all watching. If you're watching online, you got any questions or comments, go ahead and post them below. If you're not watching online, head on over to our YouTube channel where you can watch every one of our programs 24/7. My name's Keith Warren, and thanks for watching. Thanks for having us out.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Okay, so you've got property and you're wanting to build. Maybe a barn dominium, maybe deer facilities, or maybe a badass lodge. Well, you've got to check out Rafter P Construction. Rafter P Construction is the leading design-build contractor across the state of Texas. Specializing in quality farm and ranch design-build projects, Rafter P Construction encourages their customers to be very hands-on, incorporating your input into every aspect of your project with their in-house design teams. The goal of Rafter P Construction is to be your builder for life. Rafter P Construction, they'll be with you every step of the way to build your dream project. All the while, keeping quality and customer satisfaction at the forefront.